All right, so we're gonna move on to the next one, which is merging, joining, and concatenating. So on this one, we're going to, again, click download. You're going to move to the Colab, click upload notebook, the one you saved to your computer. You're gonna open it up, and then you're gonna be able to work on it. So I'm gonna close this one. And so, how do I stop this? Disconnect and delete runtime. All right, so that would let me do the other one. Okay, so here's number 6, merging and joining concatenating. Okay, so in here, again, what we're gonna be doing here, we're gonna talk about how can we merge or join multiple data frames. So this is gonna be beneficial, right? Because sometimes we have different tables of information that we wanna join together that contain the same labels, index, and we want to group them together to form a one single data frame, right? And that's practically what a series is, right? A series is, a data frame is just a connection of different, smaller series. And in a way, you can think about a series to be a data frame as well, right? A single column data frame. All right, so let's start by importing. So let's do import pandas as PD, and then move to the next one. And what we're gonna do here is we're gonna create our data frames. Data frame 1 is going to be pd.dataframe, and we're gonna make our matrix sort of A1. So this is gonna take a while, and A0, A1. Sorry, this is A, not A1. Sorry, this is A, not A1. So let's put this A1, A2, and then A3. So this is gonna form my column A, and then I'm gonna make my other, and I'm just gonna change, I'm gonna copy this, and I'm gonna put it right here. And then, so I'm just gonna change this to B. This is going to be C, and I'm gonna copy that. That's gonna be D. Oops. Yep. D. D0. D. D. We're gonna remove this comma. All right, so that is the data, and then my index will be equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, and so that will be my first data frame. And let's check if this is correct. Up has no data frame. Oh, wait. Data frame capital. Sorry, I should have put a capital there. Data frame. There you go. I'm gonna copy this and I'm gonna put it over here for my second data frame. 5, 6, 7, and this will be the same thing. 4, 4, 4, 5, 5, 5, 6, 6, 6, 7, 7, oops, 7. And this would be 4, comma, 5, comma, 6, comma, 7. All right, so that would be my second data frame. Let's make another data frame, a third data frame with now 7, so that'll be 8, 8, 8, 8, and this should be 3 as well here. My third data frame, and this is gonna be 9, 9, 9, 9, 10, 10, 10, 10, 11, 11, 11, and then have here 8, 9, 10, 11. All right, so we have those 3 data frames now, and we can check my D data frame 1. It is as I wanted it, and then let's check DF2. It is as I wanted it, and then DF3, and it is as I wanted it. Okay, good. All right, so we have our data frames, and now what we want to do is we want to practice what would happen if we would concatenate them. Concatenate them is kind of like the same thing that we have for strings. When you concatenate 2 strings, you kind of like combine them into a single string. So this is what we're going to be doing here. We're gonna, when we concatenate, we're gonna combine it into a single data frame. Okay, so all we have to do is use a concatenate function, and the values would be, we're gonna put inside the list the data frames that we want to concatenate. And so I'm gonna explain what happens here. So as we can see, they all have A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D, right? So what's going to happen here is that this has rows from 0 to 3. This one has 0, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8, 9, and 10, 11, right? So what's going to happen is that this is going to be attached. The second one is going to be attached to the bottom part of the first one, and the third one is going to be attached for the bottom part of the second one. So they're going to concatenate. They're gonna combine it into a single data frame. So what we're doing is we're adding data. Like say that you have 2 files with data that contain the same columns. They all have the same columns, but they contain different data examples. And let's say each row is a date. And so what this is going to do is going to attach the data frames to one after the other one to make a bigger data frame that is just a continuous of the actual data that we just collected. So it's practically just attaching them from the bottom part. So that's if we want to concatenate them by the row. If we want to concatenate them by columns, we can do the same thing, and we can specify how we want to concatenate them. So here, if I want to concatenate them by columns, I would have to specify axis equals 1. So what's going to happen here is instead of being placed one on the bottom of the other one, it's going to take the column, the data frame, and put it on the right side of the first one, and then the third one is going to be put on the right side of the second one. Now this one contains rows 0, 1, 2, and 3. This one does not have rows 0, 1, 2, and 3. So what's going to happen is the tool is going to automate those values by putting in non-applicable value or null value for any part that is missing. So we look at this, we run it, we see that here we have the first data frame, and because we're placing them on the right side of each other, we're going to have the next columns of the data frame 2 on the right side. And because it doesn't have any values for row 0, 1, 2, and 3, it's going to fill it up as not applicable. And for anything that is between 4 and 7 is going to give a value, and anything after that is going to give a non-applicable. Same thing is going to happen for the first column, for the data frame, for the first data frame. It doesn't have values for row 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, so it's going to give them an automatic null. And the same thing is going to happen for the last data frame, 3, is going to be placed on the right side, but because it doesn't have any values, doesn't have row 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, so it's just going to give them a null value. And this is how you can concatenate, you can combine multiple data frames. So it's important. This is for columns, and if you don't put anything, it's going to be automatically rows. I can specify, if I want here, I can put 0, and that's going to be, again, it's going to be concatenated by rows. 1 for columns. All right, so let's say we have another data frame. Let's say we have, we're going to create another data frame called left pd.dataframe. And we're going to have our values, just kind of similar to the way we did it for the other one. K1, I think they're capital. Did we put capital here? I think we put capital. So I'm going to put capital. K3, and comma, and then we're going to have the same thing that we did before. So I'm just going to copy what we have over here and use it. And so that's gonna make my left data frame. Let's check if there's nothing missing here. Data frame is something missing. Oh, I'm missing the K2 here. All right, so that's good. So that's not giving me any problem. I'm gonna do another one with the right. So I'm gonna call this right, and I'm gonna have the CD columns. So there you go. So I made a left and a right data frames. So I'm gonna display my left data frame, and yep, it looks like the way I wanted it. And let's see the right one, and yep, it looks like the way I wanted it. All right, so what we're gonna do here is we're gonna merge them together. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna merge them by the column key. So we have a column called key, and we're gonna merge those two based on the key column. So they both have a matching key, right? They both have the same column key here. And everything else is different, but we can combine them, we can merge them by the key being like kind of like the index value. So we're gonna use merge to merge them together. We're gonna say the left, right, we're gonna merge them together. How? By the inner uh, which means what they overlap, but based on the key column. Okay, so we run it, and you can see that now we have formed a data frame that it was based on the key um, uh, index. So notice that we don't have the C and the D. So what happened is it created two different columns just for specifically for those for the C and the D. So based on the key, right? On the key 0, we had A0, B0 for one of them. And what it's going to do is going to merge the other two columns as part of the same row. Same thing with K1. We had K1 for the first one data frame, and we had the C1, D1 for the second data frame. So what it's going to do is going to merge them to the same row on that based on the K1, and so on and so on. Let's do another one. Let's see. Let's do the same thing that we have here. But what we're going to do is we're going to add another key. So we're going to call this key 1. And we're going to have, let's create another key. This is going to be key 2. And this key is going to repeat, sorry, 0. And this is going to be 1. So we're going to repeat on the keys. And on this one, we're going to do this sort of the same thing. We're going to have two keys. And key 1 and key 2, this is going to be key 1, key 2. Actually, let's change this one. So I'm going to change this one to key 1, K0, K1, 0, sorry, K1, and K2. And this one's going to be K0, K1, K1, and then K2. We're trying to change it a little bit. This is going to be all K0s. All right. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do a merge based on the two keys. So PD merge. And what are we trying to merge? Well, we're trying to merge the left and the right using the key 1 as reference and the key 2 as reference. We're gonna run this one, run this one. As you can see, right, we're able to map the values of our keys, right? So if you notice that in the keys, right, we're looking for keys that match these two keys, right? Notice that we have a K0, K0 here, K0, K0. So that row is going to be placed. So we have the A0, B0, C0, D0 because they both have K0 and K0. They don't both have K0, K1. You see, this is K1, K0. That's not K0, K1. This is not K0, K1. This is not K0, K1. So this row will not, this column would not be satisfied. They both have K1, K0, K1, K0, K1, K0, and that's going to be giving us a A2, B2, C2, D2. And that's the A2, B2, C1, D1 that we get here. Here, from K1, K0. This is the one that we're getting. And then they both, they both have the K1, K0 right here. So it has the K1, K0 here from A2, B2, and then the C1, D1 from this one. But this one has the K1, K0 twice. So we're going to have the second option, C2, D2. So it has to match both of them in order to be able to be represented in the new data frame. And we can do an outer PD merge, so it's going to be the same thing. So I'm just going to copy this. And it's going to be how oops. What happened? Outer So what it does when you do, if you do inner, it's gonna do an intersection. If you do an outer, it's going to do an OR. So as long as it's in one of them, then it's going to be placed in the data frame. So this has to be an intersection of what they have in common. An outer means that it's going to be as long as it's one of them, then it's going to be in the data frame. So you can see we have all the possible combinations: K0, K1, K1, K0, K1, K0, K2, K1. K2, K0, all the possible combinations that we get from here. And then all right. And then we can do, we can merge them on the right side as well. So in outer, we can do a right. So what a right does is going to be a union, not necessarily a union, but what they have an intersection and the right side. So it's going to get everything on what they have in common, left and right, or practically it's just gonna be your right side. So you can see here K0, K0, K1, K0, K1, K0, and K2, K0. So practically it's gonna be the right side with values from the left side. And then you can do the same thing with the left. So it's practically you're gonna be selecting the keys from the left side now, and if there's anything that they match together, then you're gonna add it into your data frame. And the same thing. So you can see now this is just the left side. And then joining, let's do let me grab this one. I'm gonna copy this data frame And oh, actually, I'm gonna copy both of them and use it on the next one. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna make this the index. I'm gonna remove it. And I'm gonna put it outside. So my data frame will be the A's and the B's. And then my index would be my K0 list, K1, K2, K3. Same thing here. I'm gonna grab this one, cut it, comma, index, and there you go. So we created this data frames with this as index values, so they have matching index values. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna join them. We're gonna join the right with the left. And this is sometimes the easiest way to do it. Now we have, they both have the same index, so we're just gonna add the columns to the left left data frame, and we can do this. We can do it with outer as well. So whatever they have in common, but now will be a union of it. Remember, outer means union. So the terminology that you use in SQL. Oh, uh, actually, let me change. Oh, actually, I meant to have this a little bit different. I meant to change this one. Let's say we have missing data. Let's actually make it a little bit different. I'm gonna have this deleted. Sorry, I meant to have this different data values.